Alrighty, a very, very, very happy Monday and welcome to the TNC Sports Talk. My name is Justin and today is May 11th of 2026. How is everyone doing on this fine Monday? I hope you guys had yourself a really good weekend. I hope a Mother's Day weekend was cherishable, was memorable. Got out to our service on Sunday morning. It was really just trying to give your wife, it was one of those days. And, I know as a husband, okay, as a partner trying to thrive to be better, we're not going to get this perfect. But the objective was for me yesterday was to take as much off of my wife's plate than what her typical schedule honestly allows her to do. And I say that because it's like, well, she comes home and, she wants to make sure the kitchen is clean. She always makes sure that the living room's picked up. The bedroom is kind of her cup of tea, the bathroom, and all that stuff. So trying to sit there and just say, all right, you know what? Get out of the kitchen. Let me clean it. I will cook dinner. I will make sure this is done. Now we share these responsibilities, but it's making sure that there is less on her plate at the end of the day, so that she can relax, whether that was reading the book that she wants to read, watching a TV show that she wants to watch, watching or playing video games with her sister that she has a lot of fun doing, or whatever she can do to just relax and feel like she had a day off was the importance for me. And so a lot of actually her activities that, we did lingering towards Mother's Day took place last weekend. So we were able to kind of just more so hang out and relax and get ready for a work day Monday. So whatever you did, I talked to my mom this morning as she was heading into work, and she was just telling me you know, how she was able to reset herself and enjoy the day. Something that I think should be reminded that these holidays aren't just to sit there and shouldn't be the days that we just coordinate a day for relaxation and whatnot. It should honestly resemble. We should also every couple weeks make sure we take some personal TLC time for our mental health, for our spiritual health, for just take away from what bills look like and what from life that we struggle to live a lot of times. Gas prices go up, groceries are getting in more expensive. The cost of living overall, it's just, I can't turn on the news without listening to someone being shot or someone dying or this and that. And it's like, I just, I, there's a reason why I don't like to watch Fox News. I love it, but yet I can't watch it. But we're not a news store. We're not just those news. We cover sports. And let's cover sports. Today's episode, I'm going to tell you right now, if you have not watched any of WWE's Backlash over the weekend, stop this, fast forward this, whatever you got to do, because we are playing spoiler. We will recover what's going on in the WWE, get you guys ready for SmackDown, for Raw tonight, and talking about SmackDown from last night, and those Reds. The Cincinnati Reds snapped a pretty hefty losing streak out there. I think they went double digits and they also took the series, and so they get to enjoy a day off before visiting the Washington Nationals. We'll talk about a lot of that coming up, but let's go ahead and jump right into your thoughts and your opinions of WWE Backlash. Took place on Saturday. There's 5 matches to the card. Two of those 5 matches took place in hour number one, where we saw it was available on ESPN. And then the next 3 matches was on the ESPN subscription unlimited. What was your initial thoughts and opinions on WWE? I want to jump down into the main event match to begin with. It was for the World Heavyweight Championship as Jacob Fatu took on Roman Reigns. And I felt like this match, there was a lot of meaning behind this particular match. And it was not just a wrestling match, it was a fight, was a brawl. It was a spotlight to solidify Jacob Fatu and his placement, not just in the WWE, but among the family. This match was to solidify his placement. This match was to give Jacob that spotlight and that ultimate test of where, if he could handle and go to toe with the big one. And for the first time, I've seen another family member standing across the ring from Roman Reigns who actually backed up and put fear and question in Roman Reigns' eye. Maybe a little bit of doubt. There was moments in the match I loved. It didn't seem like Jacob Fatu was phased whatsoever. Roman Reigns would hit the Superman punch, and Roman and Jacob would get back up. Roman would hit the spear, and Jacob kicked out after a count of one. And it really resonated well with me. I've seen fear get put into Roman's eyes through other athletes, not from his own family members. And Jacob Fatu on Saturday proved, not to just me, but I believe to a lot of other WWE fans out there, that he stands above guys like Solo Sikoa. He stands above guys like Jimmy and Jey Uso. And you can almost be certain that this is not the last time that these two men will face each other. And I believe that at some point, Jacob Fatu has the upper advantage and can and will beat Roman Reigns in the near future. Roman Reigns, the only reason why he won was through the distraction of the referee that FYI he caused by removing the turnbuckle in the corner of the ring and having used that for his advantage. How often has Roman Reigns got put back into a corner and had to use out unnecessary stops? It told me that Jacob Fatu, or that Roman Reigns, doubted himself and was uncertain if he could actually beat Jacob Fatu. To be honest, the clarity is uncertain to me. The judgment is still out there. If you ask me today who is better between Roman and Jacob, Jacob has gotten the fan base. Jacob has gotten the support. He's gotten the attention. He's gotten the push by the WWE. At this moment, Jacob Fatu is, if not equal, if not better than Roman Reigns in professional wrestling, despite Roman Reigns retaining the World Heavyweight Championship. And I'm going to make it to this note as well, the tongue on death grip. Just, if it wasn't on the map before, it gets put on the map now. It gets put on the map as a top dangerous move that will take out anyone and everyone, as it came very close to taking out Roman Reigns on Saturday night. And it kind of rolls over into this story, into this family that I don't think I expect to see the last of it. I mean, I know what they've said after the match. I know Jacob Fatu, after Backlash went off air, made a statement to the WWE universe, to the crowd, about that. Like, he warned everybody what he was capable of doing. I know that Roman Reigns says that Jacob's finished. This is why he didn't let him in, because Roman knows exactly what Jacob is capable of. And to be honest, I feel like he fears Jacob Fatu. I thought it was a really good ending to a WWE Backlash event. To kick things off, Braun Breaker beat Seth Rollins in singles competition. It took the entire Vision as a distraction to help Braun beat Seth Rollins. But it was important that we take away that Braun demonstrated his dominance, picked up where he left off when he got injured earlier this year. And it seems to me that Braun Breaker is untouchable, is unstoppable. I ask myself, what is next for Braun Breaker? And there's a lot of top guys right now that seems untouchable. Oba Femi, who's been doing these open challenges on Raw the last few weeks. Jacob Fatu, who's been making wavelengths at the top of the WWE main roster, just facing Roman Reigns on Saturday. Braun Breaker fits right on top, and if it doesn't show on Saturday, if you ask me what's next, title is what's next. So far, Austin Theory and Logan Paul have the tag team titles. Braun Breaker should be stepping up to the challenge, and challenging to be next in line against Roman Reigns. Should be next in line against Penta. By the end of May, there's no reason why the entire faction of the Vision should not be holding a championship around their waist. That's for Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins vows to revenge the Vision, vows to take back his championship he's never lost. But he's going to have to dig deep. He's going to have to go back and reinvent himself. I mentioned this last week on our show that the WWE is not there for friendships. Yeah, sure, you make friends, you make enemies. But Seth Rollins is validated for not having friends, for not having anyone he can trust. But it comes at a cost where you don't have no one to support you. So as the Vision works as a unity to help pick up the victory for Braun Breaker, Seth Rollins was left alone. Seth Rollins is getting a little bit older. So how is he going to adapt to his age, to his in-ring ability? Well, let's all face it, he still has it. But he can't be the same Seth Rollins he was 15 years ago. He's going to have to change, adapt, and be smarter at the game than anyone else at his age. Trick Williams retains the United States Championship, beating Sami Zayn for the second straight time. I was comfortable with this match. I was comfortable with Little Yachty and his role in this match. I think Trick moves on to bigger and better things. While for Sami Zayn, this spiral of despair continues to unravel. And his relationship that once was beloved by the WWE Universe seems to go tarnished. Io Sky and Asuka had a very special moment inside the ring on Saturday. It was student versus mentor, something that's been built up for the past several months, if not 7 years. Felt more of a passionate passing of the torch. As we know, Asuka is up there in age as well. We are uncertain about her future. But Io Sky picks up the victory and beats Asuka, and they share a moment in the ring to embrace each other's respect after the match. Sky was ready for Asuka, any moves necessary, even took Wade Barrett's was a laptop or notebook and stopped Asuka in her blue mist. For me, this is where do you go from there moment? As we are uncertain, maybe Asuka takes another role with the company. I am unsure. I'm intrigued to learn more. But Io Sky has, from being teamed up with Rhea Ripley for the past year, has been able to fight her way back into as a strong candidate as a singles competitor. So wouldn't it renounce me that she wouldn't go after the women's championship or the intercontinental championship? But championships is where she needs to be involved in moving forward. Danhausen, mystery partner, was revealed as he was set to take on Kit Wilson and The Miz. And I will be honest with you, it took me utterly by surprise when it was revealed as a mini Danhausen. The little minions that appeared at, I want to say at WrestleMania, I believe, right? Ended up showing up as the mini Danhausen was the Danhausen's tag team partner. You know, every once in a while, the WWE needs a good laugh. The WWE universe needs to unwind, relax, and not take everything so seriously. And sure, don't get me wrong, I expected someone big. I expected a surprise return. I expected an actual athlete that probably would have demolished The Miz, and if not, Kit Wilson. So don't get me wrong when I said that I was a little bit of a disappointment when I saw mini Danhausen. But it was the story that they told in the ring about this curse. How The Miz is still cursed. How he took the fire extinguisher and it didn't work when he tried to spray Danhausen, but it worked when he tried to spray Kit Wilson or himself. The mini Danhausen jumping off the top turnbuckle, making moves, making splashes. It was a fun moment in the ring. It was entertaining in the ring. And we got to remind ourselves there was so many serious matches that went on Saturday night that we just needed 15, 20 minutes of fun, pure entertainment that had no rhyme or reason, that meant nothing moving forward other than a comical, funny time out of the WWE. Danhausen, mini Danhausen, and all the other minions in between picked up the victory. And, let's face it. Let's also add that Kit and The Miz work really well together. They bring the best out of each other, I believe, in these scenarios. I can't wait to see where the stories move next. In the controversy, I want to add because after Backlash, The Miz basically blamed that Mini Danhausen's multiple, cloning minions was not allowed in the match attacking, should have been disqualified. Well, they're all the same people, aren't they? Anyways, WWE Backlash, I think, was a very well received PLE following WrestleMania 42. There was a lot more in ring action than commercials. It was very simple. 5 matches on the card, 2.5 hour time frame. I believe we got done by 9, maybe 3 hours. Um, they focused, I think, on this passing of the torch, this table setting where there's young victories in the ring. Trick is young. Um, Io Sky is young. You know, Braun Breaker is young, and there's a lot of momentum building towards them. Passing of that torch in Asuka and Sami Zayn and Seth Rollins, where they're doing their due diligence moving forward. And the big questions that I come out watching WWE Backlash this past weekend was the future questions for talents like Asuka and Seth Rollins. Um, the question does ask, where do they fit? Where does those role place now moving forward in the WWE? And can they still hang around with this younger generation of talent? So those are some things I'm looking to answer. WWE John Cena also made an announcement last night or Saturday night, a big announcement as the WWE presents the John Cena Classic. This all transpired because of the impressive performances by the young talent in recent months. This is part of John Cena's image of wanting to give back to the company and highlight young talent inside the ring. So, a tournament to crown a winner of both young and new and old athletes is going to be taking place. Details aren't inclusive yet, as it still feels like there's still not fully structured in this classic. I guess I've seen so many classics take place over the years. I don't want to throw a classic tournament together without a rhyme, reason, and purpose. I do understand where it comes from, and I am supportive of it, but I feel like we should have completely outlined the structure of this and its entirely before we say anything to reveal anything. So, was the announcement approved? I also think it was a reason, hey, let's get John Cena out there, sell some more tickets. But WWE Backlash was not bad at all. I really liked it. It was fun. What were your thoughts on WWE Backlash here on Saturday? All right, let's move on to the Cincinnati Reds, man. Heading into this weekend, it was you were sitting on the edge of your seats. The Reds had to, eventually win. And what's great about this type of conversation is when just like a losing streak, just like when you're hitting in a slump and whatnot, all good bad things, just like all good things, come to an end. It was bound time that the Reds picked up and had a victory. I also expressed last week how important this series was to showcase, well, are the Reds doubtful? Are the Reds still going to be in this losing, have we seen the best from the Reds? And, maybe Friday when we got shut out 10-0 would have said, maybe we had to start questioning. I was prepared to come on here and question Terry Francona, question the offense of the Reds if we lost this series, if we got swept by the Astros, the team who is not playing so well in baseball. And you know what? We were able to pull away. We snapped our losing streak with a Saturday's victory of 3-1. And then we shut out the Astros 5-0 on Saturday, giving our mothers something happy, something joyful to talk about. Cincinnati Reds moved to 22-19. They are 2-8 over the last 10 games, and they have a 10-game winning streak. And I will go back to the argument saying that the Cincinnati Reds had a bump in the road. They had a slump down the line. All good teams have it. Matter of fact, the Dodgers ended up losing 2 of 3 over the weekends against the Houston Astros. So every team, even the best team, does. It sucks because they do it all at once. Nick Lodolo, who we finally see make his 2026 MLB debut on Friday, he went 5 1/3 of an inning, giving up 5 hits, 4 runs, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts, and 2 home runs. Isn't that just typical? I call that a good outing. For his first outing of the season, that is a really good outing. Chase Burns on Saturday went 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts, a home run allowed. He won the game. Pierce Johnson picked up the save. Spencer Steer, Sal Stewart all stole bases. Ellie De La Cruz got caught stealing. And then on Sunday, Andrew Abbott went 6 innings, giving up 3 hits, 1 walk, and 5 strikeouts. Spencer Steer hit his 7th home run on the season. Cruz stolen the base, along with J.J. Bleday. So, one thing I took away from this series is that we were really showing ourselves in our base running, experience, how aggressive we probably should be around the bases. And I know this isn't what Terry Francona, he doesn't want to give the opponents easy outs. So it got me looking into it. Ellie De La Cruz has 9 stolen bases. Sal Stewart has 8 stolen bases. Matt McLain has 5 stolen bases. And TJ Friedel has 4. Do you think that our team has the ability to steal bases? And if so, should we use that to our advantage in these scenarios? Now, it comes with the territory. If you're going to steal bases, you are going to get caught stealing. But why are we not more aggressive on the base paths this season in comparison to other seasons? It is notable. We have to do everything we can. Now, a lot of people are out there saying that we are not performing well offensively, and I'm saying, wait, wins are wins. And Sunday we gave up 9 hits. We had 9 hits off of 5 runs. Who says that's not capable of being offensively inclined? But base running's part of our offensive strategy. Putting runners in scoring positions gives us opportunities to score. It beats, grounding into a double play. And you know what? If we get caught stealing, it's the same thing as getting grounded out into a double play. So far this season, I've seen the Reds, Ellie De La Cruz and Sal Stewart is tied leading the team with 10 home runs, followed by Spencer Steer and Nathaniel Lowe at 7 and 6. I get it. Maybe our offense is not as spectacular. Maybe we expect a lot more. I expect a lot more. Maybe our expectations were upheld high. Maybe we got to actually analyze to see what our expectations should be for each player. But I see someone like Matt McLain, who had a good spring training, come into the season and he's been playing average baseball. But because he's not having the spring training that he had earlier this year, we're thinking something's wrong with him. I really like the starting pitching, which has been a notation heading into this season. So I want to give you some numbers to think about here. I'll post this up on our Facebook page later on today. But Burns is, if not my favorite pitcher right now coming out of the Reds organization. He's had 8 starts. He's 4-1. He's about 47. He has the most innings pitched at 47 among the league, or among the team. He's allowed 33 hits. He's allowed 11 runs. He's allowed 6 home runs, 16 walks on 48 strikeouts. Strikeouts is also the most in the organization by individual starting pitcher. Andrew Abbott with 9 games. He's 2-2, 46 in the third, 50 hits, 24 runs, 5 home runs, 20 walks, 33 strikeouts. He ties with Brandon Williamson at 20 walks. Brett Lauder, Brady Singer, 8 games, about 38 and a half innings, combined 10 home runs, 28 walks, and 53 strikeouts. As a team, we have allowed 200, as a starting rotation, the Cincinnati Reds have allowed 207 hits, 110 runs, 28 home runs, 87 walks, 156 strikeouts. We are here on May 11th, 6, 7 weeks into the season. That is a lot. um, you know, our rotation, I feel, has always been key to the organization. And I still believe in that. Chase Burns has been playing very well. I'm very impressed with what Rhett Lauder and Brandon Williamson has been able to do thus far this season. Andrew Abbott, Brady Singer has kind of gotten off to a slow start. And welcome back Nick Lodolo, who would be a key contributor factor to this rotation. Unfortunately, one of my questions that I ask myself, and I think we're starting to see the conclusions of it, is if we brought back Rhett Lauder and Brandon Williamson a little bit too soon. Rhett Lauder has been placed on the 15-day IL on May 8th due to a right shoulder discomfort. The MRI exam showed no structural damage, which is good. But what is not good is that doesn't give us a time frame table. It doesn't give us a solution to what he is dealing with. Brandon Williamson last week was placed on the 60-day IL due to left shoulder fatigue. And let me remind you that both pitchers came off of injuries that kept him out. And so I'm just curious if the push of them starting the regular season, the push of them going 5-6 solid innings every outing, kind of got the better of them this season thus far. You still have a Hunter Green, who is not expected to return into July. Emilio Pagan, our closer, he has a grade 2 left hamstring strain, which he's expected to be on the 15-day at IL, but this could last for about 2 months, for all we know. Caleb Ferguson, he has a mild right oblique strain back in March 25th. Still expected to return at some point. The last status update, according to MLB.com or the Cincinnati's website, is he tossed a scoreless inning with 1 walk on May 8th against Nashville. Will throw in an inning plus on May 12th, which is tomorrow, by the way, with AAA. So the point I'm trying to make is that so far, our pitching has held their own, respectfully. Chase Burns has stepped up to live the expectations that we needed as an ace pitcher. I expected that to be out of Andrew Abbott. Instead of that's Chase Burns. It's nice to see Nick Lodolo in that mix again. But let's see how. I think Chase Petty should still be up here. I don't know if he is or not. Haven't looked. But the point I'm trying to make is that pitching is really taking a gripe early on this year. And our offense, if our offense and our bullpen are two categories that struggle right now the most, we need to find a way to support our rotation. Well, we're picking up some victories. We're winning some ball games. I like it. I'm impressed. All right, let's take a look at what's going on over the weekend in the National League Central. The Milwaukee Brewers picked up the sweep over the weekend, took 3 out of 3 against the Yankees at home, shutting out the Yankees on Friday 6-0, a 4-3 win on Saturday, and a 4-3 win on Sunday. Milwaukee swept the Yankees for the first time since 1989. To give you that perspective, 1989, the Milwaukee Brewers, Ruben Yount winning his second, on the verge of winning his second American League MVP award. And the Brewers were still playing in County Stadium. Bryce Terang hit a home run in the ninth inning to walk it off against the Yankees in a 4-3 win. It was a back-to-back walk-off on Saturday and Sunday. First time that they walked it off this season. The Cubs dropped the series to the Rangers, taking 1 out of 3. The Rangers took Saturday and Sunday's game, shutting them out both games. The Cardinals split the series with the Padres, winning the first 2 on Thursday and Friday, then losing on Saturday and Sunday. And then the Pirates, they dropped 2 against the Giants over the weekend, winning on Saturday by 10 runs. Every team in the NL Central are off today. They resume play tomorrow. We'll give you that lineup card in tomorrow's episode. As the standings sit here thus far on May 11th, Chicago Cubs leads the division with a 27-14 record. They are 8-2 over the last 10, and they are currently on a 2-game losing streak. Milwaukee Brewers are 22-16 on a 3.5 games back, 7-3 over the last 10 on a 4-game winning streak. The St. Louis Cardinals are 23-17, 3.5 games back, 6-4 over the last 10 with the 2-game losing streak. The Pittsburgh Pirates and the Yankees are 5 games back at 22-19. The Pirates are 6-4 with a 1-game losing streak. The Reds are 2-8 with a 2-game winning streak. What is going down at the farm? Well, this past week, we saw the Louisville Bats take 3 out of 6 against the Nashville Sounds at home. The Louisville Bats moved to 23-16. They're 5-5 over the last 10 games with a 1-game losing streak. They're currently in third place of the International League West Division, and they await the AAA affiliates of the Pittsburgh Pirates, the Indianapolis Indians. Indians are 15-24. They are 4-6 over the last 10 on a 2-game losing streak, and they are 10th last place of the International League West Division. The Chattanooga Lookouts, AA affiliates to the Reds. They split the series against the Montgomery Biscuits on the road, 3 apiece. The AA affiliates to the Tampa Bay Rays. They are now 21-12, 4-6 over the last 10 with a 2-game losing streak. The Lookouts are first in the South League North Division as they await Miami's AA affiliate, the Pensacola Blue Wahoos, who are 15-18. They are 6-4 over the last 10 with a 1-game losing streak. The Blue Wahoos are third place in the Southern League South. And for the Dayton Dragons, they swept the West Michigan Whitecaps this past week, moving their record out to the 19-14. They are 7-3 in the last 10 and on a 6-game winning streak. They await back at home against the Guardians High A affiliates, Lake County Captains, who are 15-17, 4-6 over the last 10 on a 1-game losing streak. The Dragons are second in the Midwest League East, as the Captains are fourth in the Midwest League East. That is what's going on down on the farm. Over the weekend, we were announced. We saw the announcement of Bobby Cox, who passed away. Bobby Cox is a very big influence in Major League Baseball today. Very historical value to the game itself. Bobby Cox, Robert Joe Cox, was born May 21st, 1941. Passed away on May 9th, 2026. He was born in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He signed a deal contract with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Didn't see any major league playing time. moved over to the Atlanta Braves, still in the minor leagues, and then got traded to the New York Yankees, where he played the 68 and 69 season, mainly at base. In 1971, Cox switched over to the manager role as the Yankees farm system with the Fort Lauderdale Yankees. In 1976, he led the Syracuse Chiefs to the International League Championship, replaced Dave Bristol as the Braves manager in 1978. After getting fired by Ted Turner, Cox got hired by the Toronto Blue Jays and was their manager from 1982 to 1985. He led the Blue Jays to their first franchise title win in 1985 before returning back to the Braves as a manager between 1986 to 2010. With the Braves, Cox would win he would make 5 World Series appearances, winning one of them, and 15 total playoff appearances, 14 of them with Atlanta. With the Braves, Bobby Cox finished with the 2,149 wins to a 1,749 losses. He was 64 and 65 in playoff appearances for the Braves. Throughout his career, he won a total of 2,504 victories to a 2,001 loss record. He was 67 and 69 in playoff appearances throughout his managerial experiences at the major league level. He was a 4-time Manager of the Year winner, winning back in 85, 91, 04, and 05. On May 12, 2007, he passed Sparky Anderson as the 4th winningest manager of MLB history, leads with all-time injections of 158. Bobby Cox was a fun manager to watch and will be truly missed at the game. Cincinnati Bearcats continue their hot streak here, taking 2 of 3 against the Kansas City Cougars over the weekend. The Bearcats won 4-2 on Friday, 5-3 on Saturday, losing 5-2 on Sunday. The Bearcats move out to a 35 and 18 record. They are 15 and 12 in conference play. They are 17 and 6 at home, 17 and 12 on the road, and 1-0 at neutral location. They're on a 1-game losing streak. Cincinnati 8-game winning streak came to an end on Sunday as they get ready over the next few days for their final series of the regular season as they come back to Cincinnati to take on Texas Tech at the UC Baseball Stadium. Series begins on Thursday and concludes on Saturday. The Big 12 Conference Tournament begins May 19th, which is next Tuesday. NBA playoffs weekend continues. On Saturday, the Cleveland Cavaliers beat the Detroit Pistons 116 to 109. The Oklahoma City Thunders beat the Los Angeles Lakers 131 to 108. On yesterday's Mother's Day, the New York Nets beat the 76ers 144 to 114. They extend their lead to a complete 4-0 sweep, eliminating the 76ers from the playoffs. They await their next opponents as the San Antonio Spurs lost to the Minnesota Timberwolves 114 to 109. The Spurs and Timberwolves move out to a 2-2 split series record. Begin the week today on NBC at 8 p.m. The tip-off between the Pistons and the Cavaliers are set way as the Pistons lead this series 2-1. And then at 10:30 on Amazon Prime, you can watch the Oklahoma City Thunder take on the Los Angeles Lakers. The Thunder's lead this series 3-0 as the Lakers are on the verge of elimination. Other sports news and stories to keep an eye out. This is NFL week here as we get ready to reveal the upcoming schedule for the 2026 NFL season. As 13 international games will be announced at 9 a.m. on Wednesday, or as the international games, excuse me, are scheduled to be announced on May 13th, which is Wednesday at Good Morning Football at 9 a.m. As the rest of the schedule from start to finish is scheduled to be revealed at 8 p.m. on NFL Network or ESPN2 on Thursday, May 14th. Key important games that we already know heading into this date that was announced is that on September 9th, which is a Wednesday, the season will open up in Seattle as the Seahawks will host the opponent to be named here in a couple of days. That kickoff is at 8:20, available on NBC. On Thursday, the 49ers and the Rams are set to face each other in Australia. That game will feature on Netflix at 8:35. Announced over the draft that the Cowboys and Ravens will face each other in Brazil this season, and that on September 13th, the first Sunday night football of the 2026 campaign, the Cowboys will be in New York at East Rutherford Ford in MetLife Stadium to take on the New York Giants in an NFC East showdown. Also, notable schedule November 15th, week 10, the Lions will be in Germany. So, something we will pay attention to heading into this week. From my understanding, a new match, a new game will be revealed for each day. So, today was the Sunday night football, Cowboys and Giants. I'm intrigued to see what's going to be revealed tomorrow. I'm certain that all the international games will be revealed Wednesday, and then the rest of the roster will be revealed, or schedule will be revealed Thursday. So on Friday, the 15th, we can run through the schedule and let you guys know, especially as we look out for the Cincinnati Bengals schedule, because one of the dates marked on the calendar is against the Commanders. Now, the Commanders are supposed to be an international game this year. That could be the Bengals. The Bengals have yet to play an international game, so it'd be very interesting to see how that will be portrayed. But as that information to come, you can follow our Facebook page as we will keep you up to date with all the information that we've seen there. All right, let's talk about WWE SmackDown last week as a twirl of events went underway. Now, earlier in this program, I did mention when we talked about the Danhausen match and how there has to be in the WWE, everything can't be taken seriously. That you have to be able to unwind, relax, and just enjoy the product, the entertaining prospect of it all. Well, you know, the gingerbread man has been making waves the last several weeks, and they held a funeral ceremony. And throughout the show on Friday, SmackDown paid homage to where they put or implemented the gingerbread man throughout his life, throughout the WWE historical moments. So when Cody Rhodes won his championship, to being reacting to news like what you've seen on social media, it was comical. Now, some people didn't find it funny. I found it. I found it hilarious a little bit. It's one of the things like I don't take offense to how the WWE, maybe used, social media content creators and playing homage. Hey, I take that as a respect, honestly. But throughout the show, Focus Point was showing highlights of the gingerbread man's career, and then the funeral ceremony came to aspect as Little Yachty was actually in the suit, in the coffin, and this is kind of one of those AI typical moments where something like this happens, and then he pops up and starts hitting Sammy with the kendo stick. But other things to take a note out for SmackDown. Tiffany Stratton retains her Women's United States Championship, successfully defending it against Kiana James. Julia, apparently, it was no surprise that Julia ended up costing Kiana James the match. And I feel, sure they're partners, sure they associate each other with themselves, but Kiana James and Julia, it's going to ultimately lead to a match themselves because they're kind of who's the better person between them two. And right now it's a friendly competition. But Julia cost Kiana James a match because ultimately she doesn't want Kiana James to be the United States Women's Champion. Because whoever should be champion, it should be Julia. Talatonga defeats Damian Priest as this was a singles match. Damian Priest had R-Truth stay backstage, although he did come out to try to help when Tamatonga came out and try to get involved. But the biggest takeaway, and I don't want to bash on Damian Priest's singles run competitor. I expect a lot more out of Damian Priest. And it almost makes me question if he's capable of having a singles run, a successful singles run. Okay. He ends the Judgment Day. He goes on and has this feud with Aleister Black and then gets teamed up with R-Truth, wins the tag team titles. I think that's great and all. And I really appreciate what he said on Friday, how he told R-Truth, look, I need to prove that I can do this. And yeah, he does. He has a lot to prove as a singles athlete. And he has yet to be able to have a successful singles run since the WWE or since the World Heavyweight Championship with the Judgment Day. So I almost question if he is capable of, or if he's going to also always have to resort through somebody else's outside interference or somebody assistance. You know, I appreciate Ricky Saints picking up his victory against Matt Cardona back on Friday. Um, I'm still drawn and upset with Saints' loss against Cody Rhodes. I just don't feel that you make yourself a debut and you losing great. Yeah, you lost to the top star in Cody Rhodes on SmackDown, but it kind of puts you a few steps back, in my opinion. And so, yay, I'm excited that he beat Matt Cardona, but it doesn't do much for me because Matt Cardona isn't up at Cody Rhodes' level. So it's kind of interesting to see the WWE paint him high to then bringing him back down. And if you would have had it, if I would have been able to rewrite what took place a few weeks ago, I would have had Cody win via disqualification because Gunther interfered attacking Cody, where it's really a no contest and it keeps the credibility within Ricky Saints. So, um, Fatal Influence defeats Rhea, Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, Jade Cargill returns, taking out Rhea. Everyone wants everybody wants the women's tag team titles back and forth. The only problem that I have with this is, yeah, everyone wants it between Raw and SmackDown, but really haven't seen any progression of determining who's going to face them next. And the other stamper on that, I don't know to what extent Paige got hurt on Friday. I think she started bleeding at the back of her head, maybe. So that adds on. But SmackDown was all right overall. Keys defeats Tama Tonga. Okay. You could definitely see a feud. Solo Sikoa been trying to recruit Royce, and it's not happening. But the main attention to SmackDown was the response of Cody Rhodes. And Cody Rhodes is always ready to fight. Every feud, every feud that he comes into, I'm ready to fight. Someone comes out, attacks him, says, I want a match. Cody Rhodes says, oh, here I am. Let's do it. You just disrespect him some way, and then becomes personal. No difference here. Paul Heyman comes out, interrupts Cody Rhodes, saying, look, I owe Gunther a favor, and this is a championship match. Now, the good news is that it's not set to take place until May 30th at the Clash of Italy in Turin, Italy. So we can talk about a little bit more this week, but that's pretty much it. SmackDown Raw tonight, heading into Food City Center in Knoxville, Tennessee. You still have the Obafemi Open Challenge match, which we're expected to see. 6-man tag team match with Joe Hendry, Angelo Dawkins, Montez Ford, again going up against the Vision, Austin Theory, Logan Paul, and Braun Breaker. And then, like I said, so the direction is 3 weeks. 3 weeks is Clash in Italy on May 30th. It seems like to me the match card we will see the WWE Championship with Gunther versus Cody Rhodes. But there's a little bit more to pay attention to. One, Oba annihilates whoever his next opponent is going to be. Two, Braun Breaker in the Vision continues dominating. I see this as an easy win for them, a dominance win for them. I don't see Seth Rollins interfering in this match. I think you separate these Seth Rollins from the Vision just for a little bit. Let the Vision grow, build momentum. So that's where I see the win is. But the important thing as I come out of that is that, like I said, what's next for Braun Breaker? He's not just this side. He's not just this, uh, you know, advocate or you step up whenever the dirty work needs to be done. He needs to take a leap into his own, and that's going back after a championship. Um, Questions heading into tonight. What's the future for Asuka? I know she showed a lot of respect towards Io Sky. Much appreciated. Love the history behind that. But what is her next role? And how does she play that next role in the WWE? Io Sky should be one to be going after Liv Morgan for the Women's Championship. She deserves it. Becky Lynch, Sol Ruca, looks like that's going to be a favorite match, possibly heading into Italy. Also, last but not least, but will Jacob Fatu acknowledge the tribal chief Roman Reigns? Especially after everything that went down. And you could only imagine the Usos involved. And, you know, I like the carnage that Jacob Fatu had. I like the chaos Jacob Fatu left in the ring. Testing and putting Roman Reigns in, not questioning his ability, but having him second doubt himself. It was a great show. A lot to follow through. Hey, Clash in Italy is coming up in 3 weeks. We should start seeing matches get formulated. So expect what match you can expect to watch at Clash of Champions, maybe another match announced tonight, and so much more. Hey, well, this just kicked off a week of sports talk. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Please be sure to hit our like, share, and subscribe button. Please have those notifications on so you don't miss a single episode. Okay, we're here Monday through Fridays from noon to 1, unless told otherwise. We won't be here on the 18th, so mark that on your calendar. But we appreciate your support. You can check us out on our Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram page. And be sure to download and follow us on our audio platforms. We're available on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and more. You can listen to us, take us on the road, at the gym, in the car, wherever you go. We are there at your expense. Appreciate you tuning in, and we will be back tomorrow at noon. This is the TNC Sports Talk. My name is Justin, and you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care.